Hi everyone, welcome back to the Always Wired podcast. This will be our follow-up to the first media podcast, and we'll finish off our all-time movies and what we've seen over the past 2 years as well. It's me, Scott, and Blair and Martin as always. I want to say hi guys this time.
Hello.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi Mum. So who wants to kick us off with the all-time movies?
I don't mind.
Right.
So it's my film number 5. It's a coming of age classic. It's Stand By Me.
Nice.
Good film. Yeah.
It's a great film. For anybody that's not seen it, it's essentially 4 kids from some kind of small village in America that go to look for a dead body, but end up finding themselves and friendship.
Oh Jesus. That's a fair synopsis of the film, though. That is what happens.
Aye, that was pretty good, to be fair. Aye, no, it's a great film. I've seen it many times as a kid, and I still think every time they're on the train track, they're going to get knocked down. Doesn't matter how many times I see it, my heart's in my arse. It'd be a terrifying thing to happen.
Intense, to be fair.
Yeah, and then number 4, it's Rocky 4, which has got perhaps the best soundtrack ever in TV movie history. It is absolutely outstanding. But for anybody that's not seen the film, see if you just go into like Spotify or something and type in Rocky 4 soundtrack and listen to go for Hearts on Fire, No Easy Way Out, and what's that other one?
Easily the best song in that is James Brown, Living in America.
That's actually good, because I didn't really fully appreciate that until you'd spoke about it the other day. And I listened to it again and I was I feel
it's a great song, man. Living in America.
It's a top class workout album.
I was that's what I've started listening to when I'm on like the treadmill. But the only thing is, when you're listening to them songs, you've got the treadmill up to number 10 and you're just pelting it. The only thing with living in America is what happens after that.
That's Apollo Creed's fault, though. I was always when Ivan Drago.
Aye, that's how it makes that movie so good.
Blair loves a heel.
Aye. Well, Ivan Drago, he's a very engrossive villain.
Is it? He doesn't dare or say anything other than punch folk to death.
That's what makes him so good. He's like
that. He does punch someone to death in a boxing match.
Right, he's got that mystique about him, and then he doesn't care. It's like that, exactly how a lot of people portray Russian in their head, like they don't care and they're all sociopaths. So it's that bit where he's about to fight like Rocky, and he's or is it after he fights Apollo Creed, and he's if he dies, he dies.
Yeah,
just that he doesn't sell it at all. But it's that nay sell. He's just like, if he dies, he dies. It's like looking into the eyes of a leper.
It's the bit where like they're both training and Rocky's going up the mountain and everything in the snow, and Ivan Drago's just lifting weights while people are just pumping him full of steroids.
Because that's what the whole film's essentially supposed to be about. It's about like Rocky getting back to basics and Ivan being like this new age fighter, because he's on like the most modern technology. He's on like treadmills. He's using like weight machines and all that, and Rocky's essentially bench pressing pals, because they're in that wee car going for it. So it's kind of it's that whole old age against new age, which I think a good ending for the film would have been the new guy winning. But Ivan Drago winning, because the new age now, it's so much more superior to the old age. So I think that would just have been a good thing.
Aye. They couldn't end the film that way because Ivan Drago beat one of the series' favourites to death in like the first hour of the film.
But it's realistic. Like all fun would kill him. It's no.
Can he end a family-friendly sports drama film with a guy that beat a series favourite to fucking death winning? You know what I mean?
In fairness, he then beats Rocky into having brain damage because after it he's got CTE. Like, after that film, he's fucked. Like,
Funny how that guy won the film though. The guy that kills somebody and gives the main character brain damage.
it's the best.
It'd be a good two-parter.
Character in the Rocky franchise. The best character in the Rocky franchise is, of course, Thunderlip.
Like, with his cape.
Thunderlips is here in the flesh, baby. Hulk Hogan in a cape. This big fucking
Just trying to body slam Rocky, and Rocky's trying to punch him. It reminds me of when Floyd Mayweather fought the Big Show. That's probably where Vince get the idea from.
Probably. Big Show should have come out in a cape.
What would Big Show's name be? If Hogan was Thunderlips, what's Big Show?
Thunder Thighs.
Oh god.
Well done.
Very good.
That was very good.
Thunder Thighs is here.
Thighs is here.
The ultimate male.
Aye. Number 3. I know you used to very dislike this film, but I'm keeping it on the list because it's great. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Fish.
Warren.
Won 11 Oscars.
Boo, Wendy Testaburger, boo.
11 Oscars. The people don't lie. The great people of the Oscars giving society do not lie.
What are you talking about? They lie all the time.
No.
The paedophiles that give themselves gold statues for playing pretend, they're morally upstanding. They never lie.
Yes.
You go back and enjoy your orcs, Martin.
It is,
Here.
I like it because I like a good speech, and it's got some of the, two of the best speeches I think I've ever heard in telly. It's even like Aragorn is getting them pumped up to take on the orcs outside Mount Doom, but I was ready to charge it through my telly.
Mount Doom.
Well, I was
The
ready.
only likeable thing about the whole fucking franchise, Mount Doom. It's cool.
It's great, but there is a hole in the film. I'm just going to come out here and say it. In the first film, they ride the eagles, and then in the third, the eagles carry them with Frodo and Sam from Mount Doom home. And the argument is, could they not just have rode the eagles to Mount Doom?
Hey.
And say three films, which they make a point. But the film's more about the journey, not the destination. So for anyone that believes that, you're wrong. It's about the quest and friendship. So yeah, it's a great film.
I want you to remember that point you just made there about how you like a speech, because I've got a choice coming up when it's my picks, and you're going to giggle at me because you always giggle at me when I talk about. And I want you to remember that you enjoy a good monologue, right? Because that's going to be.
No, a speech can make or break a film.
Yeah. I want you to remember that point.
It was like Tyrion's speech in Game of Thrones. Like, see at the Battle of Blackwater. Like that gets the plums pumping. Like, if you appreciate that, you'll appreciate Lord of the Rings.
Hashtag plum pumping.
Aye, hashtag plum pumping. No, number 2, I went for Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
Nice.
Which all in all, it's a great film, and the reason I pick it is because it's got one of my favourite characters in all the film, which is fuck his name's been. It's the Emperor Palpatine. Oh my god, man, my memory right now has been shocking. But no, like Palpatine, like how it starts off with Palpatine in the first film, he's like the leader of the Senate, but he's also the leader of the Sith. So he's like supposed to be the leader of the bad guys and the good guys. What makes that so intriguing is the good guys, they're all supposed to have this like essentially like a sixth sense. So they're supposed to like be able to feel evil round about them at all times, but no one can sense that Palpatine is also the Sith. Which you really need to see the film to kind of appreciate how that's so good. But we spoke about this film the other day, so I'm not going to like kick the arse out it, go in by length. Number 1 is
You know you want to.
Aye, I can't believe I've spoken about this film and not talked about him dropping the leg, what Hulk Hogan did to Macho Man Randy Savage. That and the Four Sons. I've not done the Four Sons like that. But he liked a bit of the Four Sons.
He liked a bit of the Four Sons.
You liked a bit of the Four Sons.
Oh, but what Maester Windu done to him is criminal. See when he's like that, like, try to jab him with the Four Sons. And then Maester Windu, lightsaber, just absorbing it. And it seems to absorb the life out of him. And then he comes out looking like a boss. So I believe Maester Windu deserved chucked out the window for Starkweather. Which, fair play to Anakin Skywalker, eh?
We've been hearing this rant for years now, and it's always funny.
Aye, it's just a film that's always stuck with me ever since I went to the pictures to see it as a child. I don't know, something about. I think that was the first Star Wars that was like real proper good animation, and it was like you could just lose yourself in this world of like kind of fantasy, and yeah, it was just really good. But number one, which tops the list, is Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
Aye, which the interesting thing about Wolf of Wall Street is I've actually got the book, and like, I've not got around to reading the book yet because I don't really read too often. I've not got time. I prefer to watch a film. But the reason,
So you've got time to watch a film.
You get the time to sit and record this. You don't have time.
That's it. I just tell myself I've got no time to read so I can justify myself for being stupid. But no. The reason I bought the book of Wolf of Wall Street is after watching the film, I done some like digging. I done a wee bit of research about it, and they were saying like there's a lot of things that's in the book that they couldn't put on telly, and I was kind of like that, like, what the fuck could that be? Because he snorts coke off Margaret Robbie's arse. He chucks a midget at dartboard.
They've definitely had worse jobs.
Aye. But
that scene again. Fine, fine.
It's not off her tits today. Oh, the agony.
They're all got trophies to bear in it, but some are lighter than others.
Aye. No, I just think Leonardo DiCaprio, he just plays that part absolutely amazing.
Aye, he is good in that, to be fair. It's a good film.
And it's got one of the best euphemisms I've ever heard for masturbating in my life. What, feed the geese? You've got to feed the geese. Everything
that film. My two favourite things about that film is the feeding the geese bit. That's my Messier's expression for beating the earth. You've got to do it in the voice, you got to feed the geese, keep the blood pressure down. That and when, what do you call him? Jonah Hill, you know how he shags his cousin? And his defence, the way he defends it, he's like...
Aye, his justification.
Aye, amazing. If anybody's going to shag my cousin, it's going to be me. It
makes you believe that that's right. Like you're like, oh, fair enough then, fair enough. No harm, no foul.
It's a respect thing.
Aye. Like, he just says it so blasantly as well.
Right.
He's
got a emotion in his face. He's like, if anybody's going to fuck my cousin, it's going to be me. What?
But it's that bit where he first sees Margaret Robbie Jonah Hill sees Margaret Robbie for the first time, and he's like really mad. He's like really off his face, and then he like walks into this big crowd of folk with his dong in his hand, and he's just sitting there chugging right in front of her, staring her dead in the eye, going wonderful.
Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? Imagine you saw that in movie.
So that was a good list, man.
That was a good list. Have you got the two separate ones? Have you got like a separate category for comedies or actions?
I've got film and film comedy. So I'll recap my list for those at home that maybe forgot. So I've got Stand By Me at number 5, Rocky 4 at number 4, number 3 is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, number 2 is Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, and leading the pack is Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Did you like my wee pun, leading the pack?
I did. I was just going to ignore it, but I did enjoy it.
Thank you. I had to explain for the listeners at home that maybe no go with it.
They're maybe too busy thinking about trying to shag your cousin.
Aye.
Aye.
We've all done it.
Do not condone incest.
Yeah,
Martin's views are strictly his own.
that was very clearly a joke.
Was
Was
it
it? But
if one of your cousins watch this,
Aye, they're going to be sitting in a complex. They're going to go, is this me he's talking about?
aye, what language is he talking about?
your next family function's going to be fun.
It's alright, the one I fucked will know who I'm talking about.
I'm just going to move on before we end up doing a rabbit hole here. About
Yes,
fucking
for all my
cousins. That's a
family
hell-
listening at home.
That's a
this
hell thing
is-
we could do a hell deal on that, right? So my picks, I've went for number.
Aye, for any
I can't stop thinking about that. It's going to haunt me when I'm eating my dinner later tonight. But anyway, number 5 on my list is, and I've done 2 separate wee lists. One is generic films and one is horror films because I'm a horror fan. Number 5 is Natural Born Killers, directed by Oliver Stone. It came out in the 90s, and if anybody's never seen it, it's essentially like a love story between 2 murderers. It's Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis going a cross-country mass murder spree while being in love with one another, and it's just great.
Mm.
And they end up in prison, and they get caught, and then they escape. And Robert Downey Jr.'s in there before he was Iron Man, and there's just so much going on. It's such a it sounds horrible because it is these randomly just popping up and shooting random people and taking over jewelry stores and stuff. But they're both really likable, so. And it's got a really
Yeah.
banging soundtrack. It's all Leonard Cohen songs. If anybody knows who Leonard Cohen is, then you're obviously a person of culture. So that's great. Number 4 is Apocalypse Now, which is easily one of the best films ever made. It's not just on my favourites list, it's genuinely one of the best films of all time. And it's about the Vietnam War and how Marlon Brando's character is an ex-army colonel and he's went insane up the jungle and he's disappeared and he's 10 hour a wee village for like the local jungle natives and they worship him like a living god and he like catches folk and kills them. So they've got the army get what do you call him? What's his name? Martin Sheen. He's a soldier and they have to send him up the jungle to catch Marlon Brando and kill him. But as the course of the film goes on, he has all this like material on how great Marlon Brando's career was because he was a special general, he was like a tactical genius and everything else. And he ends up getting really obsessed with him over the course of the hunt, so to speak, because he's essentially hunting him. And he ends up like empathising with him and realise he doesn't want to kill him because he's a brilliant man and everything else. And then he gets to his wee village at the end, and he just like heads on pikes everywhere. And he realises, oh, this guy is fucking insane. I need to like snap out of this and kill this fucker. And Marlon Brando just sort of sits more or less in the nude, reciting philosophy about poetry and the nature of horror and war and stuff. It's insane, but it's really good.
Is that the film that Tropic Thunder is a spoof of?
I think so. Aye.
Right.
Aye.
There's a few spoofs that might be one of them.
Because I've only seen Tropic Thunder, but just as you were talking about that there, I did write it down. Apocalypse Now is one of my films to watch over the next week.
Absolutely love it. But there's not a lot of action. It's on for 2.5 hours, so it's quite long. And Marlon Brando's character doesn't even appear until the last 20 minutes. The whole film is just like Martin Sheen up the jungle hunting this guy and how he slowly starts going insane too because the jungle's an evil place and like the wild it corrupts you and everything else. It's based on a novella called Heart of Darkness, but came out in the 1800s, I think, early 1900s, I don't remember. And it's obviously not set in the Vietnam War. That's up the Congo with an ivory trader instead of an army general. But you should read the book, watch the film. They're both amazing. Not a lot of laughs, but it's a slow burn, and you'll feel sort of depressed after it because it's quite a heavy feature, I've got to say.
Yeah.
So, Apocalypse Now. Bringing up number 3 is a far more light-hearted affair, but for all the wrong reasons. It's Mad Max Fury Road, which is way later in film. Right, great film, right? My favourite action film of all time, I think, is the best action film. People out there will think Aliens or Terminator, and I would say to you, you're wrong. It's Mad Max Fury Road. It is much lighter in tone than Apocalypse Now, but is
it?
Well, it's a lighter film. It's not as you don't feel depressed after it's finished. You know what I mean?
It may be lighter than Apocalypse Now. It's not a light film.
No, well, it's lighter than Apocalypse Now.
It's lighter.
I don't know what it is about it. It feels like it was made for a 13-year-old boy And I mean that in the nicest possible way, because it's all these practical explosions and like women wet in their underwear, and like that guy playing the guitar with the fire coming at it.
Yeah, with all the cars and everything, and
all the big cars and the cool music, and the bad guy Molten Joe in his mask driving his big fucking truck thing. It's awesome. It's really cool. Like it does. It feels like it's appealing to a certain demographic, like me, my demographic.
13-year-old boys in Blair.
13-year-old in the heat, man. It's
13-year-old boys and deviants.
get the comment.
But to be fair, I like Mad Max Fury Road. It's a great film.
I like all the Mad Max films, and I've always liked them, and I never thought they could do better than the second one, because Part 2, The Road Warrior, is brilliant, but Fury Road is amazing.
Fury Road's the only one I've seen.
Right, you need to
Mad Max.
Especially watch Part 2, The Road Warrior. It's amazing. It's essentially the same, but there's a lot more leather.
Do you need to watch them all to get what's happening in Fury Road, right? I'll write Fury Road down.
Essentially,
Fury Road is amazing, mate. You should watch it.
The whole franchise is set in like a dystopian future, Martin, where the world's been wrecked by a nuclear war, and it's set in like the Australian outback. And it's more or less all these just different like factions vying for control of the oil, because they're all driving about in big cars. And it follows Max, a former policeman who's just stoating about the wastelands, getting into adventures and helping people. He's went mad, hence the name Mad Max.
Yeah. I don't think in Fury Road, Tom Hardy's Mad Max actually says anything.
It's mostly grunts, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just grunting and...
That's a trap.
But all the like expositions like around him. It's a good film.
The world building is amazing because there's not a lot of dialogue. It's essentially one long car chase, to be honest with you.
Oh.
If the Imperator Furiosa escapes at the start, it's essentially the bad guy chasing them in a car for like an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and a half. It's bloody brilliant, though. I know it sounds stupid, but it's amazing.
And Immortan Joe's like, he's got all the water for himself, and he like kind of disperses it like once a day.
He's got a lot of things. He's a lot of good ideas. He had like a breeding program and a hydroponics program, and he was keeping them off for his cell right enough, but the idea was there. And he essentially has his cult worshipping him like a god. That's a theme on these lists. Folks setting themselves up as gods. There's the whole cult based on about V8 engines. It's brilliant. He thinks he's convinced everybody they're going to go to Valhalla when they die. It's so cool. It sounds stupid, but it's brilliant. It really is brilliant. Now, moving on to Part 2, and this is what I want you to remember. You're talking about you like speeches, right? Because it's the 1956 adaptation of Moby Dick, which is the greatest book ever written. And every time I try to talk to you two about this, you both laugh at me, and I don't know why. Have you ever, like, go on the Wikipedia page for Moby Dick, it tells you in plain black and white English, considered one of the greatest novels ever written. It's not just me.
Did you write their Wikipedia page though?
I know, yeah, you could have just changed that.
I did not, no. But it's a thing. It's a thing that everybody holds in high regard. I don't know why I always admit that derision, like giggles of derision.
I'll read it.
You should read it. I'll send you. Well, I was going to say I'll send you my copy, but I won't because I love it too much. Honestly, about the book, when I was in Iceland earlier this year on holiday, I was in a bookshop and they had like a wee tiny version of Moby Dick. It was like own size, and it was like the travel edition.
Moby Dick.
Just condensed, so it was like a wee travel edition. And I regret not buying it because then I could have walked about with it in my like the jacket pocket. Whenever anybody asked me, let's consult the scriptures, and they're like, "Oh, the Bible," and I'm like, "No, Moby Dick."
Idiots.
The good book.
The good book.
And my thinking was, any situation I'm faced with, I could then consult the travel edition of Moby Dick and say, what would Captain Ahab think about this? And then I would flip through it and see what...
With his little wristband that says, what would Captain Ahab do?
Recite some mad fire and brimstone speech, because that's really all Captain Ahab does. He spends the bulk of the time out on the boat, ranting at nobody at his cell, with these old-timey hellfire speeches, and it's brilliant. But anyway, the film, they made a lot of different film versions, and most of them are trash. But the version for the 50s is amazing. It's got like the big band, you know, them old big brass band music that used to be in the big Hollywood films back in the day. Yeah. It's that, and they've got Gregory Peck playing Captain Ahab. and it's an amazing performance. And have I ever actually explained the plot of Moby Dick to either of you two before?
Yeah.
Do you even know what it's about, or have I just rant incoherently about whales?
I think it's more the ranting.
Right.
Oh, you said it's about a guy that basically goes insane and chases a whale.
Kind
Does
of.
the whale not like take his leg and he's trying to get revenge?
It takes its leg, mate.
Right. So it starts with what you think is the proper main character, and it's this young adventurer guy called Ishmael. In the book, and the film starts. Well, we'll talk about the film then, because it's the film we're talking about here. But they start the same way. He's tired and bored and looking for adventure, so he sets out. He goes to Nantucket, I think it is. Remember, the book was written in the 1800s, so I mean, it's all old-timey type stuff. And he decides he wants to get some adventure and go whaling and see the world, right? So he signs up for this whaling vessel called the Pequod, and unbeknownst to him, the captain of that ship is a lunatic. Nobody told him. Well, actually, somebody does try to tell him, but it's too late by that point. But instead of just going out to hunt whales for their oil, because again, I know in 2020 whaling sounds horrifying, but it was written in the 1800s, and it's before electricity, and like lamps and things were powered with whale oil. So guys would need to go on ships with harpoons, and they'd spend 4 years at sea hunting whales and killing them and getting the oil. So he thinks he's signed up to go and do that. He's going to do a 4-year tour around the world trying to kill whales. And it doesn't find out till they're out on the open ocean, because the captain hides in his cabin until they're miles away from land, before he can tell everybody what they're actually going to be doing. And instead of what they're supposed to do, they're going to be hunting one whale in particular, the great white whale Moby Dick that ate the captain's leg several years previous. When he made it with a knife, he found out later it went terribly for him. And the whole thing's made him go insane. He's went completely mad, and he thinks the whale is no really a whale. He thinks it's the earthly embodiment of pure evil, hiding behind the mask of a whale. that's what he thinks. He thinks if he can kill it, then he'll rid the world of evil. They said genuinely that's what this lunatic thinks. The bulk of the film and the bulk of the novel is him out on this boat, just sort of, because the transition shifts for Ishmael at the start. You think he's the main character, but no, it's Captain Ahab. And then it's more or less just him going increasingly more mad over the course of the film and the book. I don't want to. I said I don't want to ruin the ending, but it's hundreds of years old at this point.
Yeah, the movie's been out for like 70 odd years.
And the book came out about 100 years ago. So everybody dies except Ishmael, the main character. Moby Dick kills Ahab and sinks his ship and kills everybody. His obsession damns everybody around about him, and it's on the surface it's about a lunatic hunting a whale, but there's all this other like subtext there about man's relationship with God and the darkness of the human condition and stuff. It's really, that sounds pretentious as fuck. You couldn't just read it or watch it as a psycho trying to kill a whale because he's out for revenge against an animal.
Yeah, it's just a big fish.
Well, the whale's a mammal, but no fish. You should know better. To be fair, they refer to it as a fish in the story because it's the 1800s and they think it's a fish.
There you go. He was quoting your own book to you.
Well, I suppose you were. Right, fair enough.
There we go.
You can edit it with that bit. I rescind that criticism.
I'm keeping that in.
But you're saying you like speeches. He cuts a lot of really old-timey hellfire biblical speeches about the nature of revenge and how God doesn't control him and he is the fates. This is his fate and all that sort of stuff.
See, every time you say about the speeches, what I can imagine is this old, like an old guy who's essentially like Captain Birdseye with one leg at the top of a ship, but there's like a storm behind him. And he's shouting manically, and he's like spinning the wheel, and there's like storms flashing. Because I'm sure I have actually seen that film, to be fair.
There's a whole scene in a storm, and it's captivating as hell. His first mate, right, is this really nice guy called Starbuck who's religious and thinks what Ahab is doing is pure blasphemy, and that God's going to get him for it, right? A bit in that scene where they're caught in a storm, and he wants them to take the sails down and turn around and sail home because everything they're doing is mad. And Ahab's like, no, fuck this storm, fuck your God, I'm going to sail through it and kill this whale because nobody's above me, right? And then when they go out to actually try and kill the whales, they go out in these separate, smaller wee ships, and that's where their harpoons are kept. And lightning hits Ahab's wee boat and strikes his harpoon. And his wee first mate is like, look, that's a sign, that's God telling you what you're doing. There's blasphemy, you need to stop. God's out to get you. And Ahab's like, no, fuck this. And he doesn't say, no, fuck this, but that's his attitude. And he picks this fiery harpoon up and starts like swinging it at everybody. Your God doesn't scare me. I'm more powerful than God, and blows the flame out, and everybody on the ship gets convinced that Ahab's more powerful than God, and they blindly follow him to their doom. It's brilliant. It's actually quite depressing. Now that I'm thinking about it, because he tricked people to their death. It's kind of sad, but it really is great. You should watch the film and read the book. It really is brilliant. So we'll move on before I do a whole sermon similar to the preacher in the book is. But my number one pick follows a fairly similar thread to Moby Dick, and that's Jaws. Because I think Jaws is the best film ever made. We've talked about this for years. It's a staple of your friendship. Me ranting incoherently about Jaws. And I think it turns out that I quite like stories about mad old men on the sea trying to kill things. Because I really like the book, The Old Man in the Sea. It's about an old man trying to kill. So I think my tastes follow a theme here. But everybody's seen Jaws. I don't know how much explanation I really need to give.
It's a good film.
It's a great film. But Jaws is essentially, for anybody that's watching this and never seen Jaws, A, why? And B, it's about a massive great white that turns up off a coast in New England and starts munching everybody. And so the mayor pays this shark hunter to go out and kill it. And he teams up with the main character, who's the chief of police, and they tag in a wee scientist. And then like half the film's just them out in their boat trying to kill this shark. And that sounds kind of daft when you sit and really speak the plot of Jaws out loud.
Yeah.
But it really is great. Everything about it's brilliant.
It's a good film.
I think it's that way with Jaws as well. You need to kind of appreciate the time that it was made in. And they could do... The animation back then wasn't great, so they had to do what they done was amazing because they built most of it off suspense.
That wasn't important, though. The model kept breaking. The big model shark kept breaking.
That's kind of part and parcel of the time. Like they had to use a rubber shark, whereas now it's all CGI, and they would just use computers.
I still think the flack it gets. Shark and Jaws still looks better than all the CGI shit you get today. I think. Because it's not terribly far off. I mean, it's a bit stupid looking when it jumps out the water and the mouth just goes like this repeatedly.
Aye.
It's a bit stupid, but it's still better than a computer CGI. Because at least they tried. You know what I mean? You can tell that they care. It just makes it
go one way or the other, Jaws or Sharknado.
Exactly, right. They're not the same. One of these things is not like the other, is the film. They even filmed Jaws out on the open ocean. I mean, so when they're out on the sea, it's not a green screen, they're out on the open ocean on a boat.
Yeah.
But the guy actually went down into the water in a cage. I mean, all that really happened. It wasn't just shot on the computer. The shark is mechanical with a rubber casing. Anyway, Robert Shaw should have won an Oscar for his performance in that and was fucking robbed. I've annoyed years ago, even born. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jack Nicholson for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, what even? I mean, it's fine, it's good. But Robert Shaw in Jaws as Captain Quint. I mean, come on, fin me a better performance. Oh wait, we've got time.
It's not the sort. See, like essentially like the theme tune for when the sharks coming. That's still stick for you to 2020. Well, every time you're in the water, you hear that song. That's what I was saying about suspense. That's what it's mostly built off. It's mostly built off fear because you don't see a shark coming most of the time until it's there.
Right. There's the bit. I always remember when I seen it for the first time when I was like 4 or something. It's been my favourite film my entire life. And the bit where it gets the wee boy on the raft, I hated that. Because like there's just all these wee wens out playing in the water, and the wee boy's loving life. He's out in his wee raft, and then bam, this massive torpedo with teeth just snatches him, and he's not watch. Everybody else gets back onto the beach safe, and the mum's cutting about the sand looking for her son. It's when the penny drops and she realises, oh shit, that was my child. The shark got my son. It's fucking horrible.
Aye, that bit is really hard to watch.
Aye, because imagine being a parent and your child gets snatched by a great white shark. That's no good. You don't want that.
No.
Everything about that film, there's not a single thing about it I don't like, other than when it ends. And I'll end this now before I go on another rant. I remember years ago when I was at school, we get sent home for the day for some reason. I don't remember why. There was like a strike or something to that effect. And I went in and put my DVD of Jaws on, and I was just lying in my bed because I went to the shop and got munchies, and I just lay there all cooried up watching Jaws eating Monster Munch like all good children should be doing. And when it finished, I got up and pressed play on the telly because it was one of them. Remember the wee silver TVs back in the day that the DVD player built into it?
Yeah.
remote for it. You had to get up and you pushed the button on the telly. I
Uh-huh.
slithered out of bed and pressed play again and just watched it again and crawled back into my wee. Just sat there watching Jaws again. It was great. So Jaws.
Well, my list doesn't have any fish in it.
Boo.
I know. Maybe I should have changed the TV one to River Monsters.
If
But
it's not got an old man on a boat trying to catch some sea.
well, my list starts off with a film called Catch Me If You Can.
That's good.
Aye. Because I remember watching it when I was really young, and I thought I'd made it up because I'd never seen it for like years and years and years. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure that was DiCaprio, and he's like running away, and he's like making fake checks and everything. Like, and everyone was like, "No, I've not seen it." And then I saw it on Sky one day. I'm like, I knew I didn't make that up. But no, it's a great film. If either of you seen it,
Aye, I've seen it.
I've no.
Tom Hanks is the FBI agent or something that's trying to catch him.
yeah, and it's Tom Hanks, aye, and
Aye.
it's just this boy. I can't remember how it starts, but he's like on the run and he pretends to be a pilot. He's like 18 or something. He pretends to be a pilot and he's got his own flat in these different cities, and he's like making fake checks, and I think he steals like a couple million from like the federal government or something. Oh, it's a great film. Number
Yeah.
4 is a film from my youth, so it's Toy Story.
Oh,
That's
right,
always
aye.
stayed with me. Aye.
Aye.
I remember like I don't remember. Apparently, my mum told me when I was a baby, it used to be my favorite film, and I used to just watch it like you did with Jaws, just like constantly. And apparently, I burnt out the VHS,
Nice.
so we had to go get another one.
That's brilliant.
Aye. Right, and now for more adult films, but number 3 on my list is Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Oh, the Molten Metal Man.
Aye,
Solid.
great film.
Great
That was a
film.
great
And I remember I was like 15, and I remember thinking, I don't like John Connors. He's a wee asshole.
Aye, I'll give you
Got a
that.
point.
Aye, he just kept moaning and moaning and moaning. I was like, shut up and let the Terminator go and smash someone.
Aye. Let him terminate people. That's what he does.
Yeah,
It's
And,
awesome. The
it's a
effects.
great film.
It's the bit where he comes through the phone. Is it the stepdad that gets it through the phone?
Aye.
Aye.
Going into the
Stop.
club and
Yeah.
gets the
It's horrible.
What Terminator is that? Is that the T-1000 or something?
Aye. The T-1000.
The
The liquid
T-1000.
guy.
He's liquid.
Aye.
It's a great film.
The final fight's in like a fire refinery, like a refining factory or something. There's
Yeah.
lava everywhere for some reason, and chains. Brilliant.
And when
Really
was
good.
that film out? Like late
90s,
80s or something? Early
Early
90s? Aye. Like the CGI is pretty good in it. Like
No,
the Terminator like shoots him with a shotgun, and like this whole bit of his face is just gone, and then it just liquid comes back.
Yeah, that is a
Aye.
great film. It's a solid choice.
Number 2 on the list is Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
right, man.
Aye. Because I used to have the 2 DVDs. I had Goodfellas and a movie called Casino, which is basically the same cast, but they were in a casino. But then I lent it to my dad, and then he lost it, and I was raging with him for like 3 weeks. But no, I like my gangster movies. Like with Martin's TV list having The Sopranos, I loved that. And number 1 on my list is actually The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yes.
Ooh.
Film.
A bit of Eastwood.
Aye.
I
like
like my cowboys as well. I've been hooring through Red Dead Redemption 2 as well.
No. I see you whenever I sign into the PlayStation. Scott Ewan Smith now plays. I'm in.
And I'm like robbing trains in Valentine. I'm like going fishing.
Yeah.
I barely do any of the like main missions though. I'm just fishing and doing side missions.
Catching
Going
people.
hunting. Yeah. I spend more time in the camp than I do out it.
I much like how it sounds with you, was sort of like raised on Western films. I could never take the Clint Eastwood the same because it was a John Wayne house, my house.
Ah, John Wayne.
Right,
House.
aye.
The Duke.
The Duke, aye. And even though in my own house, now that I'm an adult, we've got a John Wayne calendar in the kitchen. Eastwood the same, because I was raised on John Wayne.
I like John Wayne as well. My dad was a big Eastwood fan.
Right.
So, as am I. And I've seen his other ones. Like that Gran Torino was okay, I guess. It was just this angry old man wanting kids off his porch. So he gets a shotgun.
I can understand that. I get that.
See, if there was fish in it, Blair would be all over it.
There's got
That would be Blair in 20 years.
That's good.
Angry old man with a shotgun.
If I owned a shotgun, it'd be me now. I don't.
So, what are your categories, boys? I know, Martin, yours is comedy, is it?
Aye.
Aye. Blair, what about you? Are you the same?
Horror.
Horror, nice.
Horror.
Who wants to kick us off with the categories?
I don't mind. You
Aye,
want
Blair, go for it.
Me, right. Right. So this is a subsection that's my 5 favourite horror films, and this is hard because I really like horror films. I suppose there's no other way to explain that. So we've got number 5 is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Right? And so
Could be a theme.
Title, right? Because at the end of Friday the 13th, Part 4, Jason dies properly. Young Tommy Jarvis kills him with a machete, hacks his face to bits. In Friday the 13th, Part 5, you might be thinking, well, if Jason dies in Part 4, what the fuck is happening in Part 5? I'll tell you. And in Part 5, called Roy Burns, cutting about Crystal Lake in a hockey mask and overalls, just randomly killing people because his son died in an accident or something. He's stalking the grounds around about a mental institution because his son was committed to it, and one of the other guys in the institution kills his boy with an axe. So this guy goes dual alley and puts on a hockey mask and pretends to be Jason and runs a bit. But that's Part 5. We're not talking about Part 5. Now, the start of Part 6, the boy who I told you, young Tommy Jarvis, is now a grown adult, right? And he's come back. He's haunted by the memory of Jason murdering his family and all his wee pals, having to kill him as a child. So he's a grown adult now. And he goes and decides the only way he's going to get closure about the whole thing is to dig up Jason's mangled remains and poke at them with a big stick. Which is precisely what he then goes on to do. He breaks into the crypt, he exhumes Jason's mangled, corpse-ridden body, and he rips a big pole off the fence and just starts fucking stabbing at Jason's mangled remains, right? And then a storm would hit and a bolt of lightning does strike this metal. Yes, and it conducts through this metal rod and it revives Jason. This is where the series gets a bit silly. Because in the first couple, he doesn't die, he just survives a lot of wounds and it's all quite serious. But now he's big zombie Jason. Because there's 2 Jasons, right? There's the guy for the early films that can run and things. And then if Part 6 onwards is the version that maybe used to are more familiar with. He walks really slowly and he's really big built for no reason. And he doesn't speak or make noise. And he's like all zombified and now he can't die. So that's where that comes in. He's revived by a bolt of lightning. And then he just runs.
So he's Frankenstein.
He's essentially Frankenstein. Only he's not made up of different parts. He's just one big hulking guy in a shirt with a machete who somehow acquires a tool belt. I don't know how they get it. At some point, quite seriously, at some point after he's revived for the deed by a bolt of lightning, you see him in the next scene hunting these 2 campers, and he's got a fucking tool belt on, with like wee screwdrivers and wee knives in it.
But to be fair, I don't think the murder game pays very well, so he must have to have a side hustle. Just a joiner or something. The next one, Friday the 13th, part 4000. Jason goes to work.
It wouldn't even be the most ludicrous title. We'll get to that in a minute. Could that be part 8 where he goes to New York? So that's called Friday the 13th, part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. That's the name. I don't like that.
He didn't get to go holidays.
Somehow a cruise liner docks on Camp Crystal Lake and he hauls up the anchor. Genuinely, I'm not even making that up. He walks up the lake and climbs up the anchor and stows away on this fucking cruise that's bound for New York. And he kills everybody on the cruise, obviously. And then he gets out and starts just stoating about New York, then Jason-y things. killing people for no real reason. But
Kicking over boomboxes.
It kicks over, but aye. And then there's a bit you don't see after that, because that GIF ends. That group of youths who he torments, they've like threatened him, and he turns back around and lifts up his hockey mask and shows them his mangled, horrible face, and they all run away screaming. Which I didn't like, because he should have just killed them, right? Because that's his whole thing. He kills everybody that he sees, but he walks about New York randomly, just ignoring people. I don't like it. Anyway, that's not the one we're talking about. It's Part 6, Jason Lives. So that's my fifth choice. Now coming in at number 4 is Friday the 13th Part 4. Chapter, which, as you now know, is not the final chapter, because there's 12 of them in total. But it's the best one. It's the best Friday the 13th film. It's quite serious. Some of them are kind of like light-hearted. Like Part 6 is kind of funny. There's a lot of like comedy in there. But Part 4 is really serious and quite dark. And it's the best one because it's got the most likeable cast. Because as you've pointed out before, the formula for these films is sort of rinse and repeat. Random load of horny teenagers at the camp, guy in mask, murders everybody. But this particular group of haphazard horny teenagers was more likeable than all the other ones. But and then we're introduced to Tommy Jarvis, who's a big player in the later franchise, and Jason finally dies at the end of that one because they thought it was going to be, they were only going to make any more. But it made millions of dollars, and the fans wanted another one, so they continued the franchise. But aye, Part 4 is just the best one. I think if you've never seen them, it's the best one to watch. But the formula is sort of like the same as all the rest, to be honest. It's just this one is better. Anyway, so number 3 is Friday the 13th. No, I'm kidding. It's John Carpenter's The Thing, which is. Have either of you seen this?
I think I have. I've seen it once when I was younger.
Because I feel like you've never seen any of my choices. It'd be nice if you'd seen one. But The Thing, it's anybody that's listening to this that's familiar with horror films will have seen The Thing, so I don't need to go into way too much detail about that. Kurt Russell, team of scientists, Antarctica, big shape-shifting alien that kills everybody. Really downbeat, depressing film. John Carpenter's score, excellent. The masterpiece of cinema. Then ended up flopping upon its release in the early 80s because it came out around about the same time as E.T. And then so when people went...
that was that, E.T. just ran out of it.
Everybody went to see E.T. and then seen adverts for The Thing and thought, oh, this might be another family-friendly alien romp. And then they go and see The Thing, and people are and being torn apart, and like a dog's face peels off backwards and stuff. It's horrible. It's really nasty. So I mean, it freaked everybody out, and they got a terrible write-up. So The Thing, Part 3. Number 2, John Carpenter again, is probably my favourite director. It's Halloween, the original Halloween. No, the franchise. The franchise is pish. But the original film is brilliant. And it's sort of, you were saying earlier that you feel like all slasher films are the same. This is the film that sort of started that. It came out before all the other ones. It was 1978. I mean, there's a few before that, but one there is big and popular. This is the sort of mould that shaped the slasher genre for the 80s. And only 3 people die in it. You wouldn't think. A big famous slasher film, you think it'd be like a huge body count, but it's not. And it's basically just Michael Myers, and he escapes from a lunatic asylum at the start of the film and just randomly starts stalking people in the town he grew up in for no reason. Never explained. The later sequels make it the main character, Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, is actually Michael Myers' sister. But the first film, that's not the case. And actually, they made a new sequel 2 years ago now that retconned the entire franchise and took that bit out of it, so they're no longer related. But in the first film, he's just following this wee woman and her pals for no real reason, and he kills them all at every opportunity he can get. And it's not explained why he targets this particular group. He just does. He breaks in the house, and there's all these really cool shots on it where you can see them like in the distance, but you can't see Michael Myers. You can just hear him breathing. He's off camera somewhere. You just hear his deep, creepy fucking breathing while he's watching this woman running about then or washing or whatever it is that she's doing. And then he gets everybody, and it's really cool. All the while he's being pursued by his former psychiatrist, who's went sort of loopy and is convinced that Michael Myers is evil, and he's trying to catch him and kill him. That's a theme with me, I think. It's sort of familiar. So. It's sort of familiar to a previous entry. But anyway, it's great. If you've never seen the original Halloween, 1978, you need to watch it because it really is amazing. It's genuinely brilliant. Mm-hmm. And number 1, similar to the last list, is just Jaws again, because Jaws is a horror film, and I'm not going to rant about Jaws anymore. So that's my list.
Blair, where would I be able to watch the Friday the 13th franchise?
Well, you should be a person of culture and have them in box set.
No.
That's not the case, is it? There's no one that the remake is on Netflix. We rebooted it in 2009. That's pretty good. But
Yeah.
I think Now TV has messed with them. They've
Right?
got a subscription to Now TV. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure a lot of
Yeah,
them are on that.
it's October this month, so they'll be coming out on like Now TV and Sky and
I
stuff.
think I'm going to watch them.
You've got to start from the very beginning and
Yes.
watch all 12.
That was the game plan.
Mama Voorhees in the first one.
Yes, old Mama Voorhees, an old woman running about in a cardigan, killing everybody.
I had turtleneck Cardi
She's got a wee turtleneck, eh? Wee Mama Voorhees in a turtleneck.
with this like the smallest knife in any of the films.
She kills like 13 people. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
That's one of the calling cards of the whole franchise is that they have ludicrously high body counts. See in the 10th installment, Jason X, 22 people die on screen. 22.
is
22.
Jason X not where he goes to space?
He goes to space. Jason
in
goes to space. Bit of
Oh,
space.
he's an astronaut now as well as a joiner.
So he ends up getting
Jason takes the universe.
He ends up getting cryogenically frozen for 400 years. And then this space team come down investigating the Earth for some reason.
Wait, what?
And they find his frozen body.
It's frozen for 400 years.
Uh,
Is it not 2 films after it?
No, the timeline's all over the place. But shorthand, right? At the start of Jason X, they've got him captured in a government facility, and they keep trying to kill him. Right? They hit him with a firing squad. They hang him. They electrocute him. They do something else to him. They give him the lethal injection, and then it kills him for some reason because I don't know why. He's Jason. So they decide, right, we can't kill the fucker. We'll freeze him. So they cryogenically freeze him. Then 400
So he's like that.
400 years in the future, this fucking space, because Earth is now uninhabitable for whatever reason, right? So people live on what they call Earth 2, very creative. And this like science team come down to the mangled remains of our Earth, the proper Earth, and they find the abandoned old facility that they've got Jason kept in, and they find his frozen body that, as I swear to you, is frozen like this, machete in hand, on the ground. And so they take his frozen body up to space in their wee spaceship. And of course, he fucking thaws out and starts killing everybody.
Wait, so the government frees him with his machete?
Aye, because as they're trying to freeze him, he escapes and tries to kill the main character, the wee main woman, and she tricks him and gets him in the freezing chamber thing while he's mid-hack. So he gets frozen that way. He gets frozen mid-hack. And then the wee science team take him up to space and he thaws out and starts killing everybody.
Oh,
It's
fantastic.
ridiculous, and it is. It's insane, but it's really good. It's so entertaining. It's so stupid. It's brilliant. What you will find out, Martin, when you binge the entire series?
That'll be
Aye.
after we binge Harry Potter.
And he'll be too scared to leave the house.
I know. I actually cut a bit a lot at night time.
You'll suffer as I have suffered. Then you day, but you're in PlayStation now.
Aye.
You will then play the game, and you will run about as Jason killing camp counselors. That'll happen.
So I'll start my list if that's alright.
Right.
So mine's just film comedy. Number 5, my favourite comedy of all time is my 5th favourite comedy of all time is It 2 remastered.
It?
Nah, that was a joke because the film's absolute shite. I did that joke we done like a lead balloon. That was pretty funny.
Sorry, I thought you were being serious.
No, I was just thinking about that film earlier, and I was that film is really bad, and I don't know why I expected it to be really good because I watched the original, and after you watch the original, you go, well, it's clear to see that you were on acid, Stephen King, and you were writing things because it makes no fucking sense.
Try reading it.
Aye, but the thing I liked about the second one as well was I liked the actor that played him.
Bill Skarsgård.
Aye, Bill Skarsgård.
He is brilliant in that. I like the new one, the 2017 version.
Nah, I couldn't get into it. I just thought it was shit. It wasn't scary. It was more humorous, especially the first one. I thought the first one was like quite funny, but it's supposed to be quite scary. But no, for real, my fifth one is South Park, Bigger, Louder, and Uncut.
Ah, bigger, longer, uncut. Nice.
Yeah,
Aye, which
always good.
It's just a circumcision joke.
Yeah. Coincidentally, before you go on, is my favourite musical of all time. Is the
No.
South Park.
Oh, mate, it's great.
I was going to touch on that, to be fair, because I watched it with my girlfriend for the first time. Like she's not a huge South Park fan, so I've just started breaking her into a bit. Well, she likes it now, so I've just started breaking her into the TV show. And I shouldn't have used that word. I've just started breaking her in. I started like getting her into the TV show, and then I was like, right, we need to watch the film. So we watched the film, and she spent about 3 days going, I hate you for making me watch that, because now she's been watching it for 3 days singing Uncle Fucker.
Wait, what's your favourite song in the film?
What would Brian Boy Tono do?
Oh, what would Brian Boitano do? I think
Scott?
mine is Satan's song.
That's my pick or not.
Up
Aye.
there, there's so much room.
They get really high at the end.
Who's your favourite character?
Oh, Cartman.
Is
Out the whole series or just the film?
the film?
Oh, Cartman.
Oh,
Still Cartman.
mine's is a sex craved Saddam Hussein. I think he's hilarious, and he's always trying to pump Satan at every point. He gets me like that.
Hey, Satan. Nah, I'm just kidding, guy.
Your S is ginormous and red. Who am I going to pretend you are? Liza Minnelli?
Who's your favourite character out of the series?
Cartman.
Oh, so
Male.
Is it still Cartman? Mine's between Cartman and PC Principal.
PC Principal's great.
Yes,
Or
great.
Randy
Hey,
Marsh.
Cartman.
He's like, oh, are you trying to marginalise minorities? And Cartman's just like, no, I'm just trying to frame you for raping Barris.
the minute.
And he just gets him pinned down, go on top, and he's just beating him down.
I think the best bit in the film is see when they put the wee chip inside Cartman that shocks him
Oh, the
every time.
V-chip.
The
Aye.
V-chip.
Shocks him every time he swears. And then when he can't stop swearing and he's just like the wee scientist guy is trying to talk and Cartman's rolling about in the background.
I like how he turns into like Emperor Palpatine at the end.
Yeah.
He's back in at the Force Ons.
Hashtag Force Horns.
But number 4, it's White Chicks.
Oh,
I hate white chicks.
Oh, Marlon and Sean Wayne's when they.
Nah,
Again, when
it's
it's-
boring and it's crap.
Oh, it's so funny. I think I've seen it
No.
1,000,001 times, and I still laugh at it.
I'm not getting you that. No.
You
No.
White Chicks, no.
No.
Nah, I'm not a white chicks fan. She's a white chicks fan. I'm not.
No,
Terry Crews when he's not in Eggies dancing on the dance floor, waving away with his tapa, with a whistle. That's
To be
great.
fair, Terry Crews is the best thing about that film.
Aye, he's
His
that's
scenes
so
were
funny.
quite funny. His
When
scene
you go
was
black, you're going to need a wheelchair.
lucky the white girls were.
Aye. But number 3, I don't know if you have maybe seen it, because I feel this film is really underappreciated. But it's, for me, it's the best film Ben Stiller's done, and it's Dodgeball, an underdog story.
Oh, Dodgeball's amazing.
Dodgeball's brilliant.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dodgeball is hilarious.
Look,
Yeah.
White Goodman.
Oh, what's the other guy's name? Is it Vince Vaughn?
Aye, Vince Vaughn.
Aye. Oh, that's great. And that Justin Long's just trying to do the cables and he's just caught up in it like that.
Aye.
Ben Stiller is comical in that. I think see any film he's in where he's got a mustache, he's funny in it. But he's not
Aye.
funny.
Right. Oh, when he's in Happy Gilmore, and he's
Exactly.
aye, he's at like trying to shoot the old women. Aye, he's like the psycho guy that runs a nursing home. But no,
The bit where his wee team come out to play in Dodgeball, they come out like this.
aye, they go to Jim Purple Coldplay,
And the Vipers, that.
we will rock you.
Lovely getting purple cobras.
And we will rock you. And then they come out like. It's a bit of a dick pump. He's up. He's getting the leg up the table. Or when Michel comes in when he's trying to hump the piece.
I know. When he's introducing his team, they're all huge. So these big, massive roid guys with funny names. Laser.
Taser. Blazer.
It's like Mayweather's bodyguard names.
Michelle, this giant black guy.
Oh, and the woman. The woman,
Fran.
you know, bro.
Franz
What was her name? Was it like Helga or something?
No,
Fran.
Franz Skananatrovic.
And allow me to introduce to you Fran Skiranaskovic Derevinsky.
Aye, that's it. That's it, exactly.
She kills somebody. She
I had the pop. She breaks his neck. Oh.
Before they move on, see when they've got the wee guy in the wheelchair teaching them.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Patches O'Houlihan, yeah.
Patches. And he's like that to Justin Longscatter. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And he's like, what? And it was this,
Like, what are you talking about? He throws this wrench at him.
it's before he throws it, though. There's this moment where he just sits looking at him, smiling. And then fire it and hits him right in the face. And then he's trying to train, and he's just rolling about in the background.
I like the bit where he's at, if you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball. That big dorky guy with the glasses gets sparked with a
Oh, that's a great film. I might watch that tonight.
So
I think I'm going to watch it at some point over the weekend.
I might watch it as well. It's so
funny. Ray Goodman's the most underappreciated character in TV.
definitely hear that.
So funny.
Right. Yes, well, it is.
No one makes me bleed my own blood. Michel! Michel just appears in a wee moped.
Wait, where was he hiding? Michelle was good. Where was he even hiding? He just appears.
I just parked just at a friend.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, that film's. I wish I'd put it higher now. Oh, I do. I've not seen it for a while. So it's just when you start talking about it, you go, "Oh, that is great." No, number two, I struggled with this one. So what one he put in? So I just put a franchise. I went The Hangovers 1, 2, and
I like the first one.
I'll give you I'll give them 3 as well. It wasn't their best bit of cinema, but I'll give them 3.
I've never liked them.
Did you know?
No.
I like the first one. Then they kind of got a bit ridiculous with them.
I liked the second one when they went to Thailand, like Bangkok.
Go to Bangkok, yeah. And that, who's the guy that was in Community, the little Asian one?
Oh, Mr. Chow.
And he's just in the freezer. In the icebox.
And I think he's died. So I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. I really like the character Alan, which is Zach. I can never pronounce his second name.
Galifianakis.
Galifianakis, that's it. Wee fat dude. I just think he's so funny. And I think it was because at school, if they used to say I looked like him.
Wee fat
yeah, I can see that. See if your beard was thicker. See if you had like my beard, you would look like him.
Aye, it's no fair. It's no fun.
I can see it.
And then number 1, which I think is the greatest comedy movie of all time, and I've seen it a million times and still find something funny about it, Step Brothers.
Oh, I like Step Brothers.
Aye.
I'm glad they didn't make it.
Right,
That might have ruined it.
I thought it was alright. Aye, there was a few good bits in it. When he tries to bury him, I thought it was quite funny.
Steven's like, oh, have you touched my stuff, Brennan? He's like, no. And then he's ran up the stairs and he's put his balls on his drum kit.
Before he runs up, he's like, yeah, it's time to dig for real. His balls on it. Why you touched my drumstick? Because the right one has a chip in it. Robert better not give my face. I'll drop that motherfucker.
I thought the better
fighting and that dog comes and attacks them.
Cinnamon, gay duck. The blind guy's just like, heal cinnamon, cinnamon heal.
One of them's lying on the bed trying to form a plot, and he's just lying there like this with a Chewbacca mask on.
Oh,
Because he wouldn't let the other one wear it.
it's when that wee ginger dude makes him lick the white dog shite
No,
to avoid a beating.
I'd rather take a beating.
You would rather take a beating and lick the white dog shite.
Definitely. Yeah.
Aye.
So to recap my list, it's number 5, South Park, Bigger, Louder and Uncut. Number 4 is White Chicks. Number 3, Dodgeball, An Underdog Story. Number 2, The Hangovers franchise. And number 1 is Step Brothers.
Based on the picks, Dodgeball should have been your number 1.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's the funniest, I think.
Oh, Dodgeball's hilarious. It is so funny.
Oh god. Well, mine are about superheroes, so mine's a tone shift from the
Alright.
comedy.
Right.
So, and these are in no order. Maybe one is, but I would say number 5 is Captain America, the first Avenger.
Great film.
I really like that one because like it's hard to word. I don't like World War II. I think it's interesting, but but like that era.
I know what you
It's,
mean. First in
it's a
time.
real tough way to say that.
Aye.
But no, it's all about him fighting the Nazis and stuff, and him getting like the super soldier serum. And he was this little little skinny guy, and then he's massive Chris Evans.
I just say, I think it's quite funny that you had this patronising laugh about the idea of Jason coming back to life with a bolt of lightning. In your top pick here, it's about a guy that takes a super serum to fight a villain called the Red Skull.
And then he freezes just like Jason.
How was
Oh,
that
like-
any more ridiculous than Jason coming back to life with a bolt of lightning? I don't get it. It's not just a cool nickname either. The Red Skull has a red skull
Yeah,
for no explainable reason.
I think the explanation is like he took the same serum, but there was like a bit of difference to it, and that's
Oh,
why
right.
he's got a red skull,
Right.
which makes no sense.
No.
No,
That's
Not affect everyone differently.
maybe I think there's quite a few people that have taken it in like the comics, but I don't know that much about Captain America. I think he's kind of boring, but I like his film.
Aye.
Aye,
He's too
Uh,
goody for me. He's a bit.
he's
He's fucking
I
teaching.
prefer a bit of the heels, if I'm
Aye,
honest.
he's too by the book. See,
Aye.
sometimes you need to wave out a wee bit, brand shoot.
Yeah, he's too John Cena.
Aye. Aye,
Aye.
he's too for the kids.
Alright. Number 4, I'm gonna say it's a movie called Flashpoint, and it's a DC animated movie, and it's where like the Flash is like so sad about his mother's still dead, so he runs as fast as he can, and he goes back in time to save his mother from being murdered. But then when he comes back to his time, everything's just changed.
Right.
Alright, and then when he goes back, he's not the Flash anymore. He doesn't have his powers, so he can't fix anything.
Right.
And like Aquaman and Wonder Woman are fighting because they're like shagging, but then Wonder Woman kills Aquaman's wife.
Right.
Aye. And the whole
Right.
Batman thing is way cooler, in my opinion. Like Thomas Wayne's Batman and Martha Wayne is the Joker, because in the alleyway, Joe Chill kills Bruce instead of the parents. And
Right.
while she's down there holding him, she like has her mouth, like her hand over her mouth, and then she has like the Joker smile from his blood. And I think that's like, I still like Batman, but I think that's quite a cool wee story.
Right.
So in that one, Batman's ma is the Joker.
Yeah,
And who should be Batman's dad is actually Batman.
yeah.
What?
And but Thomas Wayne, because he's like way older than Bruce was when he started being Batman, he has like guns and he like kills people
Right.
rather than his like whole moral code. Oh, it's great, man. You should
They're
watch
kind of
it.
like they're like anti-superheroes.
Aye, they're like
Essentially the
anti-heroes.
boys.
Yeah, but
Right.
like Martha Wayne is still the Joker, so she's like a bad guy.
Right.
So why
Aye.
does she try to kill her husband then if she turns into the Joker?
Oh, I don't know. Like the film's only like an hour and a half.
But it's on your favourite list, you should know.
Aye, well,
Why?
It's fine.
Why, if the husband turns into Batman, why does she become the Joker and try to kill him? Grief, hour of fun.
But then Thomas Wayne helps the Flash get his powers back, and then he goes back in time to stop himself. It's good.
Oh, right.
Aye. Pick 3 for me is Iron Man 3, which like people don't like, but I think it might be my favorite Iron Man movie because it's after the events of like all the Avengers films, and he's like, or the first Avengers film, he's got like proper PTSD, and he's like having anxiety attacks and everything. So I think they like look on that like, yeah, there's some weird bits, but I think that's my favorite Iron Man film.
Right.
I can't stick the side character in Iron Man.
No.
What's he called? The soldier? No.
Rhodey.
Aye, I can't stick him.
Aye. His hero name's War Machine.
That's it, War Machine. Aye, War Machine. I knew it was something to do with that. Aye.
Because Tony gives him an Iron Man suit, but it's not as good as his.
Aye, I hate that. That's very much. I have to be.
Yeah.
Just not as good as me.
Yeah, his reason is like, if you come against me, my suit's better than yours.
Aye.
That is fair.
Aye. Well, in the comics, he gives like suits to like the government or something, but like his suits are always better in case they go against him.
Aye.
Number 2 pick is Infinity War.
See, I like that. I like that.
I quite like that one.
That's my favorite like Marvel film, I think.
I enjoyed that. I've got to say.
Because like Thanos is a great villain because his like reasoning is believable, and you can kind of see yourself thinking.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree with Thanos completely. I thought he was in the right.
I think he maybe went a bit too far trying to get half the universe.
No, half's fair though. That's a fair amount because his whole gimmick was balance, wasn't it? Everything has to be balanced. So killing everybody at 50 is balanced.
Because he says in the film, if my species or whatever, like if my race was halved, we would have thrived, but it's just me left.
Yeah.
All right. So he's got a good reasoning for it. Now, and plus he wins. Thanos wins at the end of that, which like never happens.
But then he wasn't going to win properly though, because they made that other one, Endgame, that was shit.
Endgame.
Everybody Endgame.
I hated it.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good, but like they kill that version of Thanos in like the first 5 minutes.
Aye, which I think is quite funny. It's just just chops his head off.
Yeah.
And then gets really fat. He just gets all depressed, and then he's arguing with like kids on Fortnite.
Yeah.
He's
and he's just got bottles of Iron Brew everywhere.
If you keep my mouth shut again, I'm going to come and I'm going to rip your arms off. Like, his arms beating. You know, he just, I'm going, yeah, go and cry to your father, you little weasel.
I didn't like any of that fat Thor, him playing Call of Duty or whatever it was he was playing.
The Odin son was fat, eating crisps and drinking beer.
And then on top of all that, Brie Larson is in that film, and she's awful.
I really didn't like what's that film she's in?
Captain
Marvel. I didn't like that. I thought Wonder Woman was way better.
The only other film I've ever seen Brie Larson in was Kong Skull Island, and she's the only unlikable thing about it. Because
Kong is a good film.
The thing with Captain Marvel is it doesn't really impact the story. Really.
No, like they treated her like Marvel Superman.
She gets tagged in
because she's got her powers from some gem or something.
Aye, her powers are really bloody good. And you see her in that, and then she's in Endgame for like 5 seconds. Where are you when they need you during the rest of it? You arsehole.
She's like, oh, this is happening to everyone, not just you. Well, this is where the film is, idiot.
Aye, you arsehole.
I did like how
caught in traffic.
I liked it when she turns up in the battlefield and she's like squaring up to Thanos, and you think, oh god, she's just going to batter him, isn't she? Because she's so hard. And she doesn't. He kicks her, which I thought was he just backhands her.
Aye, pimp slaps her.
Because that's like the Thanos from like a different timeline or whatever, and so he doesn't have that kind of like compassion towards the Avengers as like the first one did. Because
He's
like,
just like, nah,
that one
mate.
stabs Tony Stark and then sits next to him and goes like, yeah, and like rubs his head or whatever, and he's like,
Yeah.
I know you're trying to do good, but my way is the way.
But the other one, nah, fuck you, kadoosh.
He's just like, who's that? Bang! Just goes flying.
That version goes full warlord, doesn't he? He comes in with a
Yeah.
massive army. He's full conqueror Thanos.
Yeah.
Aye.
But then he was out and it was shite.
And my number one is The Dark Knight.
Ooh, I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like it.
I like it.
Well, you don't like superheroes, but
No, but it's not just that. I think that version of the Joker's the most overrated thing that's ever lived.
no, you didn't like Heath Ledger's version.
Everybody gets on and on about how great a character is. I mean, I've seen better. I think he's the most overrated thing I've ever seen in my life. It was good. It was fine. They only got an Oscar because he died. It's good, but it's never like folk pretend it's the best performance they've ever seen, and it isn't. I like The Dark Knight Rises better because Bane was cool.
No, Bane
was cool.
Bane was. I was going to say that. I'll give you. Bane was get better.
Bane was better.
Aye.
Hardy in a mask, big fucking fur coat. It was cool, man.
Yeah. He breaks his spine.
Problem.
Aye. He beats the shit out of Batman. It was brilliant. He conquers Gotham in his wee tank thing. His wee coat.
Aye. He blows up the football stadium.
Aye, conquers an entire city. It's brilliant.
I quite like the one the Penguin's in. Is that Batman Returns?
Batman Returns from the 80s.
Danny DeVito.
Aye, with Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
The Penguin.
And he's just biting people's noses.
Aye.
Again, I think I just don't like the Joker as a character. I've never seen any of I don't enjoy any incarnation of him. I think he's
the worst one you'll ever see, though, is Suicide Squad.
I've actually seen that. It was
that's bad
the film's great, but the portrayal of the Joker's shocking.
He's only in it for like 5 minutes as well.
He's like a SoundCloud rapper.
Oh,
Yeah.
aye, he's not even an actor. And he's got the gold teeth and all that. And, fuck off.
And he's like driving Lamborghinis and stuff. When has the Joker ever driven a Lamborghini?
Yeah, he's just a SoundCloud rapper. That version of the Joker.
Aye.
Everything about that film was special. Like I'm not, as you know, not a fan of these films, but I end up watching them on a Sunday if I've got nothing better to do. Like every film you've listed, I've seen them all. I paid for the animated one. I find myself bored sometimes, so I'll watch on it. And I've seen most of them that way. I just don't like them.
I thought in general Suicide Squad was great. I thought Will Smith's character was brilliant, but he's not in the new one.
No, he's not in the new one.
There's a
Like,
couple of them
it
that
does
are-
have its issues, but like in general, it is a good film.
Yeah, I think
Like,
it's
it wasn't as bad as the first time I seen it.
The worst thing about it, though, surely, is the fact that for years, for the release of that film up until now, every second person you see online pretends to be Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah.
I'm not bothered with that. Yeah.
Their relationship is strange, and a lot of people go on about how great their relationship is. He like abuses her. It's weird.
It's an abusive relationship.
I've always thought the Joker was just a shite Hannibal Lecter. I don't know what I like necessarily, but I don't know why he reminds me of him for some reason. And
Maybe
Hannibal
because
Lecter-
he's just crazy.
Maybe.
Because that's Margaret Robbie was essentially like a version of Hannibal Lecter, wasn't she? She was a therapist.
Oh well,
Aye,
aye.
well-
She was a therapist, but she was completely insane. Hannibal's no insane. He's just like
Aye. That's the
Did-
character of Harley Quinn. She was a psychiatrist who got
Aye.
turned by the Joker.
uh,
But now she's just crazy.
insane. But Hannibal Lecter's no crazy. He's completely in control. He's just a psychopath.
I don't know. MD eats people isn't really in control, are they?
Aye, well, go back and watch the films or read the books. He's in complete control all the time. Like, even it goes out its way to state in Silence of the Lambs that even when he attacks somebody, his heartbeat doesn't increase. He's in complete control of his body.
Aye,
It's Harley Quinn
you're,
in control of him.
you're still a psycho. Aye.
Oh, he's a psycho. He's no impulsive. He doesn't do things impulsively. He's in
Yeah.
complete control of everything he does.
Mm,
He only eats the root, if you were paying attention. He eats the root. Free range root, he calls them.
what's your next one, Scott?
That was it.
All right.
Aye.
Right.
The Dark Knight was number one.
So is that a or the list? Are we doing the?
So what we could do is we could ask the public if they would like us to do a review on Godzilla 98.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Come on, it's so bad. It's awful.
It's the most disappointed I've ever been at the pictures.
I think it'll be fun. A little 20, 30-minute video on how crap this movie is.
That's one of my geek things, in quotes. I don't want to use that word to upset anybody, but I love the Godzilla franchise. It's one of my favourite things. I grew up watching them all as a child, like all the old Japanese ones. And in that one, he's not even got the atomic breath. He's just a big iguana.
He's just a big iguana who loves fish.
Trying to catch Matthew Broderick, I fucking hate it. The wee baby Godzillas appear at the end. It's ridiculous.
And it was like Jurassic Park.
Aye, it was just a shite Jurassic Park, wasn't it?
Aye, in New York.
In New York, aye. Funnily enough, Godzilla doesn't even destroy anything in that film. It's all the army.
I know. See
All the buildings.
when they're in the helicopters and they
Aye.
fire at him, he doesn't even move, and they
No.
blow up buildings.
He doesn't kill anybody or cause any sort of destruction. It's pish. It's just there.
Who's the little fella, the main character?
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
The
Like,
wee
what's
bit.
he even doing?
Is he not like a photographer or something?
I think so, but he's the one that's like shouting, "This is Godzilla. We should like take this seriously." And I was like, "Oh no, it's just a big fish or something, isn't it?" Like, no, it's
They
not.
made see, no long after that came out, right? That annoyed the parent company, Toho, the people that make the Japanese version of Godzilla. And they had released the rights to the American company to make an American version and were furious about the final product because that was really bad. And then so their next Japanese Godzilla was called Godzilla Final Wars, I think. And it came out in like 99. And they bring that version of Godzilla and the big iguana, they bring it in for a cameo. And the real Godzilla wrecks it. The 40-second long scene. You should Google it. It's on YouTube. It's hilarious. So they bring in the big iguana version to take the real Godzilla down, and it runs at him, and he tail whips it into the Sydney Opera and blows it up with his atomic breath, and that's just it ever. It's fucking great, man.
Because Toho gave them like a 80-page dossier of what to do and what not to do with Godzilla, and they completely ignored it.
They're not orang. That's why it took so long for another American Godzilla film. It took up to 2014 for the current franchise that we're in now, which is pretty good.
I liked it.
I like it.
They still talking about having Godzilla vs Kong.
That's coming out next year. It was
Oh,
supposed
is
to
it?
be released this year, but it got delayed because of COVID.
Aye.
Yeah. Because Kong Skull Island was brilliant, wasn't it?
Oh, mate. I loved Kong Skull Island.
Fucking amazing. So much fun.
Just
It's
this.
such a fun film.
Just Kong, just. How big is
Smashing
Kong?
it. Kong is pretty big.
Aye.
But
I think
they
they
didn't
made
have-
him bigger in Skull Island so that he could
Bigger
like,
than Skull
like
Island.
realistically fight Godzilla.
Aye, but they say in Skull Island he's not finished growing yet. So when it gets to the Godzilla versus Kong, he's going to be like twice that size again.
Aye.
But see, here's my thing though. Both in this franchise, Kong and Godzilla are both the good guys. So they're not going to fight to the death. They're going to team up to fight something worse, I think.
Aye.
That's always been my theory about this.
Like Mothra.
Mothra's a good idea though.
Aye.
No.
I've not really kept up with the Godzilla franchise
Well,
too much.
There was the 2014 one, and then there was Skull Island, and then there was
Aye.
the 2019 Godzilla King of the Monsters. That Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah are in. And Godzilla.
Oh, I've
right?
not seen that. That'll be
Right, you
one.
go watch that then, right? So
Aye.
that then after that, it's going to be Godzilla vs Kong. It's on like Prime or Netflix or something, so go watch that one. Then you'll be
Nice.
off
All
because they
caught
bring
up.
King Ghidorah back, and I love King Ghidorah.
Nice. Well, we wrapping up, boys.
Aye, that
Okay.
sounds fine.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe, hit like, and all that YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
If you just want to say bye, lads.
See you later.
Bye,
Right.
YouTube.